Hi friends, in this video we have to learn about constructor in a Python. So what is a constructor? A constructor is a special method that runs automatically when you create an object from a class. In Python, the constructor method is called init method. So double underscore init method is called as a constructor in a Python. Its main job is to initialize the object of a data, that is the setup of a data. So why we need a constructor? So constructor help us to assign a value to the object variable, prepare the project for use, reduce the repetitive code. Think of it like this. You can see this is example. Suppose class is a blueprint and object is the actual vehicle created using the blueprint, and constructor is called as engine startup process. So this will execute automatically, and this is called as the init method in a Python. So what is the syntax? You can see the syntax. Just first you have to create the class. After def underscore init, and in bracket you have to compulsory to write a self, and init is a special method and self is a referred to the current object. So in example you can see this is a constructor without a parameter. So first you have to create the class and then def underscore init. This is constructor and just print the student object created. So here you can see just we have created the object of this class student, and you can get the output student object created, which we written in a print statement. So you can see constructor runs automatically when student is called. No need to call the constructor specially, just like we normally we call any method, but we don't need to call a constructor directly. It will call automatically when you create a object. So let's create constructor in our VS Code. So let's open our VS Code and create a file just like a constructor.py, or you can create just first you need to create a one class. Suppose I create a class student. Here you can see student class is created, and just like this is same like a method. This is called as special method double underscore init. When you type this will automatically fetch, and suppose print student object created, student object created. So this is called as a constructor. You can see this will call automatically when you create an object of this student class. S1 equals to, you can see student, and here you can see we are not calling this method, then also it will print. You can see the output, run and see the output. You can see student object is created. Normally for a method we need to call the method just like after creating object s1 dot method, but constructor will call automatically. That's why this is called as a special method in Python, that is the double underscore init double underscore. So now see the constructor with parameters. This constructor has no parameter. Now see the with parameters. You can see this is same example. Class student, def init, self is a compulsory, and name and age means constructor with parameters. So we are creating constructor with a parameters, right? So that is the self dot name, and name we can assign self dot age equals to age. And after creating the object of this class students, so just pass the value of this name and age inside the student class, and just print s1 dot name and s1 dot age. So this is a parameterized constructor. We can call this is a parameterized constructor, and you can see the output Amit and age. So let's create this parameterized constructor. Just create one another file for parameterized constructor. Constructor 2, suppose constructor 2.py. How to create a constructor? First we have to create the class, and then just like create a, you have to create the class compulsory, and in that just like a div. This is same like a method, only difference is init method. Now we are creating the parameterized constructor. So just pass the parameter name comma age and self dot name equals to name and self dot age equals to age, right? So we have created this constructor. You can see self dot name, self dot age. Now create the object. So s1 equals to student, and inside the student you need to pass this value, because constructor is called automatically when we create object of this class. So here in you can pass the value. There is a name, just I am passing name, suppose like Gautam, and suppose age equals to 26, right? And now you can print the directly variable, just like a s1 dot s1 dot suppose name print s1 dot age. So you can see here we are not calling method, this special method means constructor. Just we are creating object and we are calling this data. So no need to call this will automatically execute. Now run this program and check. You can see Gautam and 26. So this is a parameterized constructor. You can see the difference. This is a parameterized, and before that we created without parameterize. So by both way we can create this constructor. Here self.name and self.age are instance variable. Value are passed while creating the object, right? Now in example 3, multiple objects using the same constructor. You can see we can create a multiple objects. Here you can see the example class employee, definite is a constructor, and self employed is salary. So same self dot employed is equals to apply employee, self dot salary equals to salary. And here you can see we have created two objects. You can create a multiple objects, same class, and you can pass a different value. So we no need to write the code again and again. We are creating two objects and just calling and passing the parameter e1 dot employee id, e1 dot salary, e2 dot employee id, and e2 dot salary. So this will be output. So let's create this multiple object, create a special file, third file for that. Constructor, suppose 3 dot py, just create a class employee. This is just like a method only, or this is called as a special method as well. Def and double underscore init. Don't forget, constructor is special method in a Python, and this is called as a init. Just pass the name, employee ID and salary. empid and salary, suppose. So I use salary name only. Self dot employee ID equals to employee ID, and self dot sal equals to sal. So see, this is a constructor. Already I told, and again I am telling, init method is called as a constructor. So we can create so this is a constructor. Now just we have to call. You have see, we have created this constructor, and now suppose we are creating two object. E1 is equals to employee, and in there just pass employee ID, suppose 101, right? And employee salary equals to suppose 50,000, right? And we can create another one object or multiple object as well. E2 employee and 102, and salary equals to 60,000. And you can directly call. Here you can see print e1 dot employee id, e1 dot salary. Print e1 dot employee id, comma e1 dot sal. This is the first object we have called. Now call the second object. Print e2 dot employee id and e2 dot sal, and now run the program. You can see 101 is a 50,000 and 102 is a 60,000. So we can create a multiple object and call the constructor. Here I'm telling, we have not called this method. This is executing automatically when you create the object. and directly then we can access this data member by using a object, or we can execute. So types of a constructor in a Python. Default constructor, that is called as a no parameterize except self. Self is a compulsory parameter, rarely used in a real project. See, dep underscore init self. So this is called as a default parameterize. And parameterize constructor, this is the most important. Accept argument initializes the data. Here you can see self and A and B we pass and we assign the data. Important points regarding with exam and interview. Constructor name must be underscore init. It runs automatically. A class can have one constructor. Python does not support constructor overloading. This is remember, you can't overload this init method. Means constructor we not acceptable in Python. Constructor overloading. Self is a mandatory. Constructor does not return anything. So common beginner mistake here you can see many people forgetting to write a self keyword. So you can see def unit and name to directly pass a variable. So this is wrong. So def unit self is a compulsory, and you after that you can pass the parameter. So this is a correct. So here you can see the one line definition. A constructor is a special method Python used to initialize the data members of a class when an object is created. So what is the constructor? Constructor is a special method in Python used to initialize the data members of a class when an object is created. So that's all about the constructor, how to create the constructor, and constructor is called as a special method, and this name is underscore init, and self parameter is a compulsory, and this will call automatically when we create a object. No need to call this constructor specially. And constructor is a default constructor, parameterized constructor, and we can create a multiple object and we can pass the value. So that's all about the constructor. Thank you for watching this.